Consistency.
Skill.
Top left.
Score.
Red.
Little better be nothing on my memory.
Manchester United fans have had it rough with strikers in recent years, from injuries and inconsistency to big names who couldn't deliver, but it wasn't always like this. There was a time when United had goal-scoring machines who didn't just find the back of the net, but defined eras. Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie, Cantona, Andy Cole and Denis Law are legends who played pivotal roles in winning trophy after trophy, with one of them even scoring 187 goals without taking a single penalty. So what happened? Why did that era of dominance come to an end? And more importantly, why do Manchester United fans believe that the glory days might be on the horizon again? Could it be their new signings? Or are they about to pin their hopes on a 26-year-old striker who's already outscored Cantona? This is why Manchester United's prime strikers are worth remembering. 1960s Denis Law. How better to start than to start from the 1960s, a decade when Manchester United began solidifying its legendary status, thanks to one man, Denis Law. Law wasn't just any striker. He was the striker who could change a game with every touch. He joined Manchester United in 1962 and quickly became the heartbeat of the team, racking up 237 goals in just 404 appearances, which at that time was a legendary feat. In the 1963 FA Cup final, Law's two crucial goals led United to a 3-1 victory over Leicester City, ending their 15-year FA Cup drought. But what made him so special? Well, beyond his incredible finishing, Law was fearless, going for every shot, no matter how tough, and his aerial ability was unmatched. He even scored 6 goals in a single European Cup match, a record still standing today. The 1960s belonged to Denis Law, and without him, they wouldn't have been as good as they were. But after Law, you'd think United might struggle to find a replacement, but no, they did not, and they went on to sign players who became legends. 1970s to 1980s, Brian McClair. McClair wasn't just about goals, although he scored plenty, scoring over 127 goals in 471 appearances for the club. He was versatile, playing both as a striker and an attacking midfielder. His versatility made him a manager's dream, especially for someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, who was starting to build the foundations of his empire at Old Trafford. His intelligence on the pitch and his incredible ability to read the game made him stand out. With his positioning and his finishing, he was a wonder too. He became the first player since George Best to score 20 goals in a single season. Well, many might say that Brian McClair might not have had the same level of stardom as some of his predecessors, but his importance to Manchester United during the late 80s and early 90s can't be overstated. This decade was full of consistency, but the 1990 era marked a decade of dominance for Manchester United, and the man leading the domination was a former Leeds man.
How do you measure passion?
1990s, the era of Eric Cantona. The Aura man was more than a footballer, but a phenomenon with turned-up collar swagger. He joined Manchester United in 1992, and his impact was immediate and immense, leading Manchester United to their first league title in 26 years. Over the next 5 years, Cantona would lead United to 4 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups. But it was not really about silverware, but how he played. He made football look like art. One of his most iconic matches was against Manchester City in the 1993-94 season, where he inspired Manchester United's comeback 3-2 win with 2 goals after Manchester City was ahead 2-0. His vision and creativity made him special. He could see passes and create chances out of nothing, and his leadership both on and off the field was crucial to United's rise. Who could forget about his riddle? He once said this in a post-match interview.
Follow the trawler. It's because they think
sardines will be thrown into the sea.
Only Cantona could turn a post-match interview into a riddle. With Eric Cantona's reign bringing flair and trophies to Old Trafford, Manchester United entered the late 1990s on a high. Still, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, United find themselves not one, but two good strikers and surprised the world together. Andy Cole and Dwight York. Perfect partnership. When it comes to legendary strike partnerships, few can compare to the duo of Andy Cole and Dwight York. Their chemistry was off the charts, and it played a massive role in Manchester United's historic treble-winning season in 1999. Andy Cole was an incredible goal scorer who scored over 180 goals in his career without ever taking a penalty. Every single one of those goals came from open play. Talk about a pure striker. Dwight York, on the other hand, brought flair, vision, and a clinical touch that complemented Cole perfectly. Together, they terrorised defences across Europe, linking up with an ease that made it look like they were playing a different game. Whether in the Premier League, the FA Cup, or the Champions League, Cole and York were simply unstoppable. After this partnership, Manchester United took up a young Dutch player from the Dutch League and turned him into a star, and this player would score over 20 goals every season for 4 seasons. But before we mention this player, we have a small favour to ask. We can see that you are enjoying the video, and if that's the case, why not take a quick moment to subscribe to the channel? Believe it or not, over 95% of you watching right now haven't hit the subscribe button yet. It would really help the channel grow. Thank you. Now, back to the video. 2000s Ruud van Nistelrooy. If you were a defender in the early 2000s, Ruud van Nistelrooy was the last person you wanted to see running at you. This guy was a goal machine, plain and simple. He joined Manchester United in 2001, and from the moment he stepped onto the pitch, it was clear that he had one thing on his mind: to score goals. And he did just that, netting 150 times in just 219 appearances for the club. That's right, 150 goals. Insane, isn't it? He was the definition of a poacher. His movement in the box was second to none, and he showed this in the FA Cup match between Manchester United and Aston Villa, when he scored 2 late winning goals in the 80th and 82nd minute, and led Manchester United to the next stage, and also becoming the first United player to score in 7 successive matches. He was a consistent player and a predator in the box. In the 2002-2003 season alone, he scored 44 goals across all competitions and helped Manchester United clinch another Premier League. His legacy at Manchester United is one of ruthlessness and precision, and he remains one of the greatest finishers to ever wear the famous red shirt. 2000s to 2010s, the rise of Wayne Rooney.
What a player! Wayne Rooney out of this world!
When you ask Manchester United fans who they think is the best striker in the Premier League, there is always one name in the conversation: Wayne Rooney. The English player from Everton was a born goalscorer. Rooney wasn't just about scoring goals, though he did plenty of that, scoring 253 goals to be exact, which made him United's all-time top scorer. But what set him apart was his versatility. He could play anywhere across the front line, drop deep to create, power forward, or finish with a clinical touch. One of Rooney's most iconic moments has to be his unbelievable bicycle kick against Manchester City. With the match tied, he decided to do something special, and what a goal that was. That goal didn't just win the game, it became one of the greatest in Premier League history. But Rooney wasn't just about the flashy stuff. He was the hard worker and the engine of the team, which is why he's the only player in Premier League history to score over 200 goals and provide more than 100 assists. Wayne Rooney's legacy at Manchester United is one of greatness, as he wasn't just a striker, he was a leader, a creator, and a record breaker. He defined an era at Old Trafford and left a mark that will be remembered for generations to come. Wayne Rooney would play for Manchester United for a long period, and in this period, he would play with an Arsenal castaway, which would lead to one of the greatest duos in the Premier League.
And Persie sets off, and Rooney finds him. Oh, brilliant!
2012 to 2015, Robin van Persie. From being ridiculed by his former team to winning the Premier League, Van Persie's story at Manchester United shows that players don't have expiration dates and could be better than they were. The Dutchman, who became a legend at Manchester, was not expected to have a very impactful season like he did in his first season. In his first season, he scored 26 goals and won the Premier League Golden Boot. Van Persie had this incredible ability to score goals that left you wondering, how did he even do that? One of his most memorable moments was when he scored a hat-trick against Aston Villa in April 2013. This match would also see him score one of the best goals of his career when Wayne Rooney sent a long pass over the top. And without breaking stride, Van Persie unleashed a first-time volley from outside the box that rocketed into the net. In that same season, he would score over 20 goals. He was so good that Lionel Messi had this to say about him. Van Persie is the complete player. He has the entire package. He is a good footballer, but he scores loads of goals at the same time. He won the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year in 2012-13, which further explains how good he was in his first season. His skill set was something to behold. He had a deadly left foot that could strike fear into any goalkeeper, a brilliant footballing brain that allowed him to make intelligent runs, and a coolness in front of goal that made him one of the most clinical finishers in the game. Whether it was a curling free kick, a powerful header, or a volley out of nowhere, Van Persie could score from just about anywhere. But wait, does he remind you of a certain player? After the departure of Robin van Persie, Manchester United searched for their new talisman, and this would see one of the best strikers of the modern time play for Manchester United. 2016 to 2018, the Zlatan era. The Lion arrived at Manchester United in 2016, and from day one, he brought an air of confidence that only Zlatan could bring. At 34, many doubted if he could still perform at the highest level, but he silenced his critics in his first season. A major standout match of Zlatan was when he scored twice against Southampton in the 2017 League Cup final. He would win the Europa League trophy with Manchester United by using his strength and incredible technique to score goals. The 2020 era. The 2020s have been a wild ride for Manchester United strikers. The club brought in several forwards, but consistency was hard to find. They first brought in Odion Ighalo, who arrived on loan in January 2020, and despite initial doubts, he quickly won fans over with some important goals, especially in cup games, but his impact faded, and then he returned to his parent club. Then came Edinson Cavani in October 2020. Though he scored crucial goals, injuries held him back. This era was also expected Anthony Martial to shine, but despite his talent, he struggled with inconsistency. Amidst this, there was hope when Ronaldo returned, scoring 24 goals in his first season back. However, he left the club the following season, 2024 season. Manchester United entered the new season with three of the best young strikers in the world. Højlund, Xerxes and Rashford have been showing promising signs that they were ready to take the Premier League by storm. Rashford, though talented, has struggled with consistency, but with former United forward Ruud van Nistelrooy now as the assistant coach, things could turn around for him. Then there's Joshua Xerxes, who calls himself a 9.5 forward. After scoring 14 goals and providing 9 assists at Bologna, he's ready to make a big impact. And let's not forget Rasmus Højlund, the youngest of the trio, who showed promise by scoring 10 goals in his debut Premier League season. So, who will shine brightest and become United's next top striker? Rashford is already close, with over 131 goals for the club. But the big question is, can he go all the way and break Wayne Rooney's record, the same way he destroyed Cantona's record? Thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, you can watch our last video on the history of the Premier League. Till then, keep enjoying Manchester United.